Your Majesty, thank you for this conversation. I want to ask you about something happening right now in the world. A war being fought in your name on land you once walked.
In my name? By whom?
By the ruler of Russia, a man named Vladimir Putin. He has invaded a country called Ukraine, a land that borders Russia to the west and south. He has cited you, specifically, as his justification. He says he is doing what you did, returning Russian lands.
He cited me. And what exactly did he say I did?
He said that when you fought the Great Northern War, your war against Sweden, you did not conquer foreign land. You reclaimed what was already Russian. He says he is doing the same thing in Ukraine.
I know the lands he speaks of. I fought at Poltava. I crushed the Swedish king and the Cossack traitor Mazepa there. I know those fields. But let me ask you this. When I took lands, I did not say I was returning them because they were always mine. I said I was taking them because Russia needed them. Because without ports, without access to the sea, without roads to Europe, Russia would remain a sleeping bear in the forest while the world moved forward without her. I was honest about ambition. This man hides ambition behind history.
That is a perceptive distinction, and I want to return to it. But first, I need to explain to you something that did not exist in your time. After centuries of wars exactly like the ones you fought, the nations of the world created a set of agreements, laws, and binding rules that say, no country may invade another and take its territory by force. This is now considered the foundation of peace between nations. It is called international law.
Laws between nations? Who enforces such laws? Which king?
No single king. An institution called the United Nations. Over 190 nations, all agreeing to be bound by the same rules. The core rule is this: the borders of a country are sacred. You may not change them by military force.
And if you do?
You become a pariah. Sanctions, economic punishment, isolation. And in Ukraine's case, other nations have armed Ukraine to resist.
So the world has decided that the era of conquest is closed.
Legally, yes. Morally, that is exactly the question before us today. Because Russia is arguing that Ukraine is not truly a separate nation, that it is historically, culturally, essentially Russian, and therefore the rules do not apply.
I will tell you something about Ukraine and the people there. I fought them. Some of them fought against me with the Swedes under Mazepa. They were not fighting for Russia. They were fighting for themselves. Whatever they are not simply Russians who forgot they were Russian, a people who take up arms for their own cause. That is a people. Even I knew that.
So you reject the premise that Ukraine has no separate identity?
I reject it as a military argument. It is weak. If you must tell people they do not exist to justify conquering them, you have already admitted something uncomfortable about your own justification. When I conquered, I did not say the Swedes were secretly Russian. I said, Russia needs what Sweden has, and Russia is strong enough to take it. Brutal, yes, but honest.
And therein lies the ethical problem with what Putin is doing? You're suggesting he is being dishonest about his actual motives?
I am saying a man who must dress ambition in the costume of liberation is a man who knows, somewhere inside himself, that the world will not accept naked ambition anymore. And perhaps that is progress, that he must at least pretend to have a moral cause. In my time, no such pretense was required.
But the people dying, Ukrainian soldiers, civilians, children, does the honesty or dishonesty of the justification matter to them?
No, it does not. And this is where I find myself unsettled. In my wars, people died. Many people. I did not lose sleep over it. I believed the greatness of Russia justified the cost. But I built something real. St. Petersburg, a navy, roads, schools, academies. The suffering purchased something that endured. What does this war purchase? A broken land, bled dry, full of people who will hate Russia for generations. This is not how you build a window to Europe. This is how you build a wall.
That may be the most damning verdict of all. Not from international law, not from Ukraine, but from the very man Putin claims as his inspiration.
Let him build a city. Let him build a fleet. Let him send young Russians to study in foreign universities and return with knowledge that transforms their nation. That is what I did. That is what made Russia great. Not this.